Missing something today? Holy cow, it's like so much people crowded around everywhere. Actually, one thought with the whole pandemic and transmitting, I guess, viruses airborne and what people are afraid of, I wonder if this actually plays a role. This one says, Metro Vancouver seeing biggest spike in mosquitoes in nearly a decade. So it's not just me that I noticed there's so many more bugs and stuff like that just flying in the air. Although it makes you wonder, like in this case, in terms of spreading viruses and so forth, would this be a worry? Basically mosquitoes taking blood from people, transferring it back and forth, like from one person to the other, or no? Too bad my Pro is still down too, because it's kind of windy, but the sky looks really nice. It'd be nice to have like the higher resolution and all that. Although I guess for things like drones and stuff, it's kind of interesting in terms of things like battery, because that's usually an issue when you fly things like a drone. How long can you stay up in the air? This will probably relate to it. This one says, Wibotic secures 5.7 million Series A financing round. Wibotic is the leader in wireless charging and power optimization solutions for the robotic industry and provides next-generation off-the-shelf hardware and software systems that most customers can use out of the box with any type of robot or drone. Wibotic wireless charging is more resilient and reliable than contact-based systems and helps simplify the charging logistics and reduce maintenance costs. Robots and drones can connect to power with greater accuracy, improving productivity. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if they develop anything new, I guess, with this. Although I'm just looking at their products and you can kind of see what they currently have. Like here it says like integrated options. You can buy all this stuff for things like drones and other equipment. I know there's solutions where people tether their drones to the ground and get power that way. So it'd be kind of cool if this is actually more mainstream and easy to use. Although one thing I'm wondering is usually when you fly your drone and stuff, you want to reduce any signal interference. It makes me wonder if wireless charging introduces any type of interference in that regards. And I'm just trying to catch up to see what all the latest computers and stuff are in terms of parts and all that. One of the most important things actually to make your system run as fast and efficient as possible is to use things like an SSD. I know a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, it takes forever to load up. They think it's just buying like a crazy processor, or in many cases it could be just the hard drive. So it's interesting reading this one. This one says, this week in storage, wafer-level SSDs and Kaminario takes silk. So kind of an interesting new, I guess, design. It says, Kioxia floats concept of wafer-level SSDs. Kioxia, formerly Toshiba Memory, has talked about plans for a new way of delivering flash storage it calls wafer-level SSD. The concept is to skip along the dicing assembly, packing, and SSD drive assembly seen in conventional flash memory and SSD manufacturing methods and simply mount the entire wafer to deliver a huge chunk of data storage with a high performance. So you can see some pictures and I guess like a general description of what it would be like. It says here, using what Kioxia calls super multi-probing technology, hundreds of chips in a single wafer can be probed, presumably meaning wired up and operated in parallel, which could enable enormous performance and millions of IOPS. So that's kind of cool. I don't think we'll be seeing this anytime soon, of course. It's just interesting to see, I guess, those images of what they actually look like. For archiving large files, it's still too expensive to do them on SSD when you compare it to older traditional hard drives. I mean, just look at this price for like an SSD here. 50 terabyte, $12,500. 100 terabyte, $40,000. Okay, who wants to pull that out and just use like an SSD to store all their backup files? But as usual, as time goes on, hopefully things get smaller, faster, cheaper. Basically, it benefits everyone. With that, I've still been trying to keep up to see what's going on with the CPU market in terms of the best performance and value for the money. And just an example of how fast things can change, or if you're looking to build a computer right now too, just look at the difference. Like for example, this one was done by PassMark. Basically, it kind of calculates what the best performance CPU is based on their software. Like keep in mind, this isn't necessarily true in all cases. Like you could have an application running and then the faster speed processor would be better, but in a real life application, maybe you're opening tons of windows and all that, you'd need like a different multi-thread processor to do a better job. But just look at some of the examples. Like right now, the top of the line is that AMD Ryzen Threadripper 3990 and it's about $3,500. Again, that's pretty expensive. Like obviously it's not just for the regular average person, but when you compare it to the other processors, like for example, like the Intel Xeon, like what is that, like $7,000 like for a worse performance? Keep in mind, before there was like serious competition like that, people would just assume like, okay, I guess that's the regular price. That's why it's great to see all this innovation and competition. Or as well, just say like how a regular consumer processor, I guess you could say a little bit more on the prosumer end, can still mop the floor with one of those like enterprise solutions in terms of prices. Like on this chart anyways, a Ryzen 9 3950 at about $700 is not a bad value when you think about it compared to everything else. Even if you don't build your own computers, you can actually use charts like these just as reference, where if you're buying like say a pre-built system, that you can see it in terms of value, saying, what, I'm paying this much, I'd rather get this processor and so forth, or at least give you a basis on how to customize it. Alright, see you guys later.